On October 17th, 1962, Michael Craig Judge was born in Guayaquil, Ecuador. He was the middle of three children born to William James Judge, an archaeologist, and Margaret Yvonne Judge, who was born Margaret Yvonne Blue, who was a librarian. At the time of his birth, his father was working for a non-profit organization in Guayaquil and other parts of Ecuador, promoting agricultural development. Judge was raised from age 3 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he worked on a chicken farm and attended St. Pius X High School. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in physics from the University of California in 1985. After graduating from college, he held several brief jobs in physics and mechanical engineering, but found himself growing bored with science. In 1987, he moved to Silicon Valley to join Parallax Graphics, a startup video card company with about 40 employees based in Santa Clara, California. Disliking the company's culture and his colleagues, Judge quit after less than 3 months. Shortly after quitting his job, he became a bass player in a touring blues band while taking graduate math classes at the University of Texas at Dallas. He was planning to earn a master's degree as a backup plan to become a community college math teacher after relocating to North Dallas for his ex-wife's new job. In 1989, after seeing animation cells on display in a movie theater, Judge purchased a Bolex 16mm film camera and began creating his own animated shorts in his home in Richardson, Texas. In 1991, his short film Office Space, also known as the Milton series of shorts, was acquired by Comedy Central. Shortly thereafter, he dropped out of school to focus on his career. In 1992, Judge developed Frog Baseball, a short film that featured the characters Beavis and Butthead, which was to be featured on Liquid Television, an animation showcase that appeared on MTV. This short led to the creation of the Beavis and Butthead series on MTV, in which Judge voiced both title characters and wrote and directed the majority of episodes. The show centers on two socially incompetent, heavy metal-loving teenage wannabe delinquents who live in the fictional town of Highland, Texas. Beavis and Butthead were an overnight sensation, and as a result, Judge was in demand. The success of Beavis and Butthead as a TV series spawned a movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America, released in December 1996, which was a box office hit, grossing $63.1 million on a budget of $12 million. It also spawned a spin-off animated series, Daria, in 1997. In early 1995, he decided to create another animated series. The result was King of the Hill, a sitcom about a propane salesman, his family, and friends. The series, which debuted in 1997, became one of Fox's highest-rated shows, and even briefly outperformed The Simpsons in ratings. At the same time, Judge began to develop one of his animated short films called Milton, about an office drone, which aired on Liquid Television night after night with Alan Harvey and also Saturday Night Live. The film, entitled Office Space, was released in February 1999, and it was well received by critics, but it was not a box office success, although it later became a cult classic. Judge's next film, Idiocracy, was a dystopian comedy starring Luke Wilson and Maya Rudolph. The movie is about a soldier selected because he has an average IQ, being put in suspended animation in an experiment. When the officer in charge of the experiment is arrested, the experiment is forgotten about, and as a result, he is not revived for 500 years. He awakens to find the population is profoundly anti-intellectual, and apparently, he is now the smartest man in the world. The movie was not released until September 2006, 2 years after its production, and was not a box office hit. The production company, Fox, may have actually attempted to keep the film from being seen by a wide audience. Still, the film gained a cult following. In 2008, Fox announced that King of the Hill had been canceled, apparently to make room in the schedule for The Cleveland Show, a spin-off of The Family Guy. But Judge had already had his next film lined up, Extract, a comedy featuring Jason Bateman, Mila Kunis, Kristen Wiig, and Ben Affleck. Originally, I wanted to buy the Idiocracy DVD, but the cheapest DVD I could find was $13.92, 1 cent more than I self-imposed limit of $13.91. Next, I looked for the Office Space DVD. The DVDs were cheap enough. In fact, there was a special edition DVD for $3.58. But I thought maybe I should opt for a lesser-known Mike Judge film, namely Extract. And wouldn't you know it, I was pleased that DVD was available for $5.99, well below the target price. So again, the Extract DVD does qualify for a review.
You see that? They're not going to do their jobs, I'm not going to do mine. I'm just going to sit here.
Oh no. He definitely lost one of them, and they think that they can reattach the other one, but they're not sure.
Wow, that's hardcore.
How fragile we all are. We're just hanging there. Do you want to go to the bedroom?
I'm a little tired.
Sexual frustration is really hard. If I don't get home before 8, she puts on the sweatpants. And once the sweatpants are on, I get nothing.
Hi.
Hon?
Joel, let me introduce you to the new temps. This is Cindy.
Hey.
Hi.
And, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Damn, she work here?
Yes, the temp.
She's a tramp?
Temp.
Stress is a killer.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? What is he doing? We can't do our job if they don't do our job.
Extract.
I get paranoid when I smoke pot. But if you smoke a little.
The movie opens with Cindy, played by Mila Kunis, stealing an electric guitar from a guitar shop. Then the credits roll. Then the movie shifts to Reynolds Extract, a company which makes flavorful extracts and is run by Joel Reynolds, played by Jason Bateman, who built the business from the ground up. But his marriage lacks passion. He and his wife Susie, played by Kristen Wiig, have not had sex in over a month. He is also accosted by his annoying neighbor, Nathan, played by David Koechner. Things are looking up, however. General Mills wants to buy the company, and if he sells the company, he could retire early. But things go awry when an employee, Don Stepp Wilkinson, is injured in a bizarre factory accident, and as a result, he loses a testicle. Now, General Mills decides to put acquisition of Reynolds Extract on hold, pending the outcome of the settlement over the accident. But Brian Huggins, played by J.K. Simmons, who is Reynolds' second in command, assures him that Stepp does not want to sue the company. Meanwhile, Cindy, who sells the stolen guitar to a pawn shop, reads a news story about the accident. With money on her mind, she gets a temporary job at the factory, getting more information about Stepp. She also begins a series of petty thefts from her co-workers, fostering distrust. Finally, Cindy meets with Stepp, and although Stepp initially decided not to sue the company, Cindy convinces him to change his mind, and he agrees to sue, hiring attorney Joe Adler, played by Gene Simmons. Joel, mistaking Cindy's manipulations for genuine attraction to him, entertains the idea of an affair with her. He goes to a bar and explains the situation to his bartender, Dean, played by Ben Affleck, who suggests that Joel hire a gigolo to seduce his wife. That way, Joel can have a guilt-free revenge affair. Joel initially rebuffs the idea, but under the influence of a horse tranquilizer, Joel agrees to the scheme. Joel and Dean hire Brad Chavez to pose as a pool cleaner and seduce his wife. The next day, Joel sobers up, realizes what he has done and tries to stop Brad from going to his house, but by then Brad and Susie have already begun an affair. After smoking pot with Dean and Dean's friend Willie, Joel attempts to call Cindy, but soon realizes that he's calling Willie, who is angered and punches Joel in the face. The next day, Joel goes to work and Huggins confirms that Stepp is suing the company. Joel goes to his house, notes the poor job that Brad has done on the pool, and he says that he will not be cleaning the pool anymore. Then he goes to Shep's house, who tells him that he's going out with Cindy. In the meantime, Susie breaks up with Brad, telling her that she wants to make her marriage work. Later, Joel and Huggins meet with Adler and his associates to discuss the settlement for Stepp. Adler demands a settlement so large that Joel would have to liquidate the company. In the meantime, the workers, who believe that the meeting is about a buyout of the factory by General Mills, organize a strike. Frustrated by Adler's uncompromising negotiating style, Joel storms out of the meeting. The employees confront him, demanding shares in the company. Seeing that he has nothing to lose, he offers the workers the entire company, then leaves the building. He goes home, tells Susie that he hired Brad to have an affair with her. They fight, and Joel leaves the house and goes to a motel. He sees Cindy staying in another room and goes to her room. Invited in, he sees a purse stolen from one of his workers, along with other stolen items. He then realizes that Cindy is not only a thief, but is responsible for many of the company's problems. Joel threatens to call the police, but softens when Cindy breaks down in tears. Cindy promises to talk to Stepp and get him to drop the lawsuit. The two sleep together. The next morning, Cindy is gone, but leaves the stolen items behind. Stepp meets with Joel at the factory, where he offers to drop the lawsuit if Joel promotes him to floor manager. He also hires Brad, the wannabe gigolo, to work in the factory. Meanwhile, Nathan stops by in Joel's house, making Susie lose her temper and tell him what she really thinks of him. He then collapses and dies. Feeling guilty, Susie attends the funeral, where she meets Joel. After an awkward moment, they agree to share a ride. As the credits roll, a brief clip reveals that Cindy has stolen Joe Adler's luxury car, and the valet brings Stepp's truck to Adler, which Cindy has also stolen. I have to say that I like the initial premise of Extract. The plot has two separate storylines. In the first storyline, Joel seeks to sell his extract company to General Mills, but everything goes downhill once Stepp is injured. In the second storyline, Joel wants to have an affair with one of his workers and concocts a scheme to pay somebody to seduce his wife. In the end, we end up with the status quo. Joel does not sell the company, and his marriage was more or less intact. Cindy, the catalyst for everything that has gone wrong, has left town. In the end, the outcome of the movie is essentially unsatisfying, but the movie is engaging enough to keep me watching and keep laughing. It definitely helps that Joel Reynolds, played by Jason Bateman, is a likable character. Joel, the straight man in this film, has been obsessed with extracts for years, and has taken his obsession and built a company around it. In contrast, the characters around him seem like leeches, with the exception of Huggins, his assistant, and perhaps Dean, his bartender and friend. In essence, the movie is told from Joel's perspective. We want him to succeed, even if his lack of success leads to great hilarity. This movie is about 91 minutes long, and about 71 minutes into the movie, things are looking bleak, indeed. Joel is on the verge of losing the company, for which he worked so hard, and his marriage is on the skids. Then, miraculously, the situation resolves itself within 15 minutes. He gets to keep the company and his marriage, and although Joel isn't any richer or smarter, he's wise enough to realize that he should be glad for what he had. The resolution here was unsatisfying because Joel didn't really seem to make any effort. He was happily sliding towards oblivion when he saw Cindy in one of the other rooms and got her to drop the lawsuit. If Cindy had shown any backbone, he'd be in for a world of trouble. This movie was made on a shoestring budget. Rather than recruit star talent, Judge went with an ensemble cast. And the cast did a pretty good job in their roles, especially J.K. Simmons, Kristen Wiig, who's best known as one of the cast members of Saturday Night Live, and Mila Kunis, better known as the voice of Meg on The Family Guy. Even Ben Affleck seemed to accept a pay cut for the prestige of working on a Mike Judge movie, and he does a pretty good job as the long-haired, laid-back bartender and wannabe pimp for a male prostitute. Even Gene Simmons, who I hate vehemently because of his comments on the COVID vaccine, does not ruin this movie, and he actually did a pretty good job of playing the sleazy ambulance-chasing lawyer. This movie was, it made about like $10 million on a budget of $8 million, so it's a modest success. But in conclusion, Extract proves that a mediocre Mike Judge film is a better film than most films. The story and the subject matter is interesting enough to maintain my attention, and the acting is good enough to keep my interest. It's not vulgar, but it's very funny. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. In addition to the movie, the DVD contains Mike Judge's Secret Recipe, a 10-minute documentary on the making of this movie. There's a setup menu which allows the user to have the movie dubbed in French, a subtitles menu with English, French, and Spanish, and an option to register a DVD, an option that I chose not to use. There's also a sneak peeks menu containing trailers for other movies and TV series. Oddly enough, there are no deleted scenes, assuming that there are deleted scenes not put in the final cut of the film, and there's no commentary on the movie. Overall, I'd say the DVD extras are adequate, though it's a little disappointing. As I mentioned, Extract is an engaging, funny movie, if somewhat disappointing for Mike Judge movies. It's average for a Mike Judge movie. Moreover, the DVD extras are not really a selling point here either. I therefore will only slightly recommend the purchase of this DVD, and if you're interested in seeing Extract on the cheap, you can view it free for ads on Freevee, so there's that option. So anyway, I only slightly recommend the purchase of this DVD. That's it for this DVD review. Next week, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing. I had to look through some of my DVD purchases over the past few weeks to decide what I want to do. But anyway, like this video and comment on it, and hit the subscribe button to be informed of the latest low-budget review. As always, thanks for watching.